David Barton was on Glenn Beck's channel talking about abortion and some recent Republican elections. Listen to what was said, and then we'll break it down.
6 of the past 9 Gallup polls have been taken show that pro-life actually outpolls pro-choice. So there's been a big shift in public opinion. I think that's giving our legislators more and more backbone, and you see more pro-life laws being passed at the state level.
Well, I saw some of the analysis after the Virginia election. In the Virginia election, they were looking at what could Cuccinelli have done to have won that election. And they offered several things. And the only thing they said that the polling showed was that if he had been stronger on pro-life issues, he probably would have won the election in Virginia. And that's fairly amazing to say for Virginia, which Northern Virginia is so blue, that if he had been more pro-life, he would have won, which means we must be picking up public opinion across the board on this kind of issue to be able to move forward the way we have.
Yeah, I think that the gains have been everywhere across the board, blue states and red states. And again, I don't think Cuccinelli made enough of that issue in that race. Terry McAuliffe has a very strong pro-abortion record, and I think highlighting his extremism would have worked to Cuccinelli's benefit.
So Ken Cuccinelli, one of the most right-wing candidates I've ever heard of, wasn't right-wing enough. If he just went further to the right, then he would have won his election. And he wasn't pro-life enough either. Wow. Remember, this is the anti-blowjob guy. Yeah, that guy's not right-wing enough. Well, specifically to the claim of he's not pro-life enough, listen to this. From his own 2002 campaign website, quote, Ken believes that human life begins at conception, and that human beings should be respected and protected from conception to natural death. Ken would seek to require sonograms to be part of a 24-hour waiting period with an informed consent requirement. Ken opposes abortions that are not for the purpose of saving the mother's life. So, in other words, if you're raped, have the baby. If it's incest, have the baby. If there's a fatal fetal defect, have a stillbirth. Sorry, that's what I believe in. This guy's not pro-life enough? Now, over his career, what else has he done? He tried to defund Planned Parenthood and embryonic stem cell research. He pushed for a ban on third trimester abortions, making no exception for serious health risks to the woman. He bullied the State Board of Health when he was the Attorney General in Virginia to force abortion clinics to close. He supported what's called a conscience law, which protected doctors if they decided to say, hey, I'm personally against abortion, so I won't perform one on you if you need one, even for medical reasons. He says that Planned Parenthoods in African-American communities are racist. He said his ultimate goal is to, quote, make abortion disappear in America. He helped fund crisis pregnancy centers that lie to women and manipulate them when they're trying to make the decision if they're ready for a child. He compared abortion to slavery. I'm not sure there's a single person in all of America who is more anti-choice than Ken Cuccinelli. But according to David Barton, he wasn't anti-choice enough. You just go a little further to the right out there, and you'll be okay. What is further to the right? I'm not sure there's anything further to the right of this. Are you insane? What, are you going in the Genghis Khan territory? That's how far right you want to go? Now, keep in mind, since this is David Barton we're talking about here, who made a lot of these comments, he wrote a book about Jefferson that was dubbed by a history group the least accurate history book in print. So to say he doesn't have any credibility is an understatement. And I want to show you something here. For good measure, I'll throw this in. When they say that Americans are pro-life, just look at the Gallup poll. I have the polls right here. So they asked the question, do you think abortions should be legal under any circumstances, legal only under certain circumstances, or illegal in all circumstances? And what the results are is that the lowest thing is people who say it should be illegal in all circumstances, which is what these guys are in favor of. They just said that more Americans are in that category, but that's the smallest category. Only 20% of Americans are in favor of that. 26% say it should be legal in all circumstances, so 6% more say it should be legal in all circumstances. And in my opinion, the people who are right, 52% say it should be legal only under certain circumstances. So that's the thing. On this issue, the American people are moderate, and I think they're totally right to be moderate. So they're of the opinion, hey, look, it depends, man. If it's really early on and we're dealing with an embryo or a gamete or a zygote, of course it's the woman's choice. Of course the morning after pill makes sense. Of course contraception makes sense. And then they would probably say, I know I say this, when you hit the point of fetal viability, or you hit the point of when the nervous system develops in the fetus, so there's pain involved, then you draw the line and say, okay, from here on out, only in cases of rape or incest or life of the mother or fatal fetal defect, and that's it. So the American people agree with me on this issue, and they're reasonable. They'll hear out both sides of the argument, and they come to a good compromise, a good balance. And by the way, most liberals are in that category too, of the compromise, the balance, the idea that, look, man, it depends. Abortion should be legal under some circumstances and not other. We're not saying you shove a scissor into somebody's head 3 minutes before they're born, but we're also not saying the second you're done having sex that you can't take preventative measures. So why am I not surprised that these guys, they're wrong on absolutely everything that they said?